Well, the picture tells the story here at Lancaster Park this morning. Once again, the Port Hills covered in mist and fog, and at Lancaster Park we've got light drizzle falling. The outfield is very wet. The covers are on the wicket block. These very big covers they've got here at Lancaster Park doing a fine job protecting the entire wicket block, but there's an awful lot of water on those covers. The rain started to fall last night about 9 o'clock, I think, and it hasn't really stopped all night. A lot of water on those covers. The ground staff, Russell Wiley, was using the super sopper to take a lot of the moisture off the covers earlier on. For the moment, Russell and the staff have abandoned that task. They've gone up for a cup of coffee because the rain is continuing to fall, albeit lightly, but the outfield is still rather moist, and there's certainly no immediate prospect of play here at Lancaster Park. We may get some later on in the day. There is the provision for the extra hour, of course, if the weather is good enough at 6 o'clock. But today's forecast is for light northeasterlies with occasional rain, the temperature up to 19 degrees. At the moment, we have very cold conditions indeed. I suspect it's only about 14 or 15 degrees, very chilly, a southerly wind blowing, and we have rather uncomfortable weather all round at Lancaster Park at the moment. I've got the two umpires with me, Steve Woodward and Brian Aldridge, and we'll just now get the legal situation from the two umpires about when play can start. Brian, what's the story at the moment? Whose control is the decision in?
The umpires at the moment. We can't abandon play until after afternoon tea break. It can be abandoned before then with the consent of the local chairman or the New Zealand Cricket Council appointee.
Steve, do you suspect that there will be any play today, or is it really just a case of wait and see as far as the umpires are concerned?
You have to wait and see, Peter. I think, but as you look, if you look around, you know, you'd have to say it's remote, I would say. But you know, you have to wait and see. With that hour being able to be made up at the end of the day's play, you can't call it off too early. Russell Wiley, as you said before, does a magnificent job here, and he needs at least 2.5 hours to mop up, I would think. Then the outfield's got to be dried as much as we can. It's pretty remote, I would think, but the wind gets up and blows it away, who knows?
So it's really just a case of frustration for players and umpires alike, and the officials as far as the decision is concerned.
That's right. Just wait and see. Just wait around.
Okay, well, I guess you guys are going to have to spend most of your day down here until play is either called off or we do get underway. The story as far as the extra hour is concerned, Steve, that is important in the relevance of the situation at the moment, though, isn't it?
Yes, it's available there at the request of either side to make it up. I think there's little doubt that one side or the other is going to request it, so it's there. It's available to be made up. If we lose an hour of play on that day, it could be made up on that day. It doesn't get carried forward onto any of the other days, of course, but just on that day we can make up an hour.
All right. So the prospects for play here at Lancaster Park today, rather remote. Goodness gracious me, this chair's not in good nick either. It's almost as bad as the Lancaster Park weather. I won't lean back. What we should also tell you is that there is other sport on Television 1 today, with the racing from Tarapa scheduled for 6:20 this evening. But let's, before we leave you for the moment, just recheck the scoreboards here in the England second innings. They're 55 for 2 at the moment. That means they've got an overall lead of 206 runs. The two wickets to have fallen for England are those of Chris Broad and Tim Robinson. Broad out for 20 and Robinson on 2. Martin Moxon's had a long vigil at the wicket so far. He's on 27. Mike Gatting's on 3. It's 55 for 2 with the 3 extras. Look at the New Zealand bowling, and the successful bowler for New Zealand has been Ewan Chatfield. Danny Morrison's been very economical. Chatfield was 2 balls into his 15th over when they stopped play for bad light on Sunday night, 2 for 22, and Martin Snedden, the other bowler, used. Richard Hadley not bowling for New Zealand in the second innings, and it seems a very remote possibility that he's going to be in action at the bowling crease for the remainder of this match, and all New Zealanders hoping that Hadley's calf muscle will be able to cure sufficiently for him to take his place in the New Zealand team for the second test, which starts at Eden Park in Auckland on Thursday week. So for the moment at Lancaster Park, that's about all we can tell you. The weather is bad, and there's very little likelihood of play in the next 3 or 4 hours. If there is a dramatic improvement in the weather, we might be able to squeeze in some play at about 5 o'clock, but it's really just in the hands of the man upstairs who's controlling the conditions here today. So that's it from Lancaster Park. In the meantime, normal programming will resume here on Television 1 with aerobics programs and then programs for the children.